Hello everyone, welcome back to Allcarnews, and today you join me here with the redesigned 2025 Nissan Murano, and I've been waiting for this car for quite some time now. With Muranos in our family since they debuted back all the way in around 2003, 2004, I have been in pretty much almost all of the variants of the Murano since then, and now getting to drive this all-new Murano for the entire week has been a joy to really experience the next step for Nissan. This is a key segment, this two-row mid-size SUV segment now, and the Murano has been one of the staple mates of it, and it's always been the one that's been distinctive. And with this 2025 Murano, that is a very, very true statement. We have a bold new design, bold new interior technology and equipment, but in this era of hybridization and electrification, does this 2025 Murano stack up against a lot of really high new key competitors? We're gonna find out in this video, as I'm gonna take you on a full tour and review of this 2025 Nissan Murano and see how it is a key component to Nissan's future. Under the hood here is a big change for this 2025 Nissan Murano. Gone not only is the continuously variable transmission, but also the V6 engine that has powered the Murano since its start. Now in its place is one engine option, and this is the VC Turbo we have seen in plenty of Nissan and Infiniti products. The 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine with that variable compression ratio, so it can go from a more efficient ratio to a more sporty dynamic ratio within the engine there. And this is delivering around 241 horsepower and around 260 pound-feet of torque. Now, if those numbers sound familiar, they're actually just swapped with the V6. So this engine may be a little bit down on horsepower compared to the old V6, but we are definitely up on torque. Now, in place of that old continuously variable transmission is an all-new 9-speed automatic gearbox, which is a very welcome choice here for Nissan, and this is now spreading across vehicles in their lineup, which is a very welcome thing. And this is a much more compact, lighter engine than the old V6, and with that more torque, you're going to feel a little bit more pep around town. Though in its day-to-day driving experience and in terms of fuel economy, it's honestly not that different than the old V6 in terms of fuel economy. With this all-wheel drive particular Murano we have right now, MPG combined is around the same number, around 23. And on the highway, yes, I've been able to see 30 MPG, but on average, it hasn't been that great. I've been seeing 24, 25, maybe 26 in some cases, and around the city, I'm seeing around 21, 22 MPG over the course of this week of testing. So not the most impressive fuel economy, and definitely in an era where electrification and EVs and hybridization are big. I would have loved to see a hybrid version of this powertrain, or plug-in hybrid, something that Nissan could have put in this to really kind of step it up, especially against a new key competitor, the Toyota Crown Signia, which is hybrid only. Now, there is a story behind this vehicle, and I'm just going to shut the hood up for a second to talk about it, is that this was almost an EV, and it kind of split off into the Nissan Ariya, which we did review last year, and I fantastically loved that car. It's actually like an electric Murano, and that's not too surprising, as they're almost going to be the same vehicle, but they split off. The Murano is too iconic to kill off. People still want their gas vehicles, so we still have the Murano in this combustion form. But I really hope Nissan finds a way to put some sort of hybrid powertrain in this, because I think it would incredibly benefit this vehicle and make it even more smooth. Now, of course, the Murano has always been a design icon for Nissan, bringing really bold, unique styling elements to this two-row mid-size SUV class here. And this 2025 example is no different whatsoever. We're here in the Platinum trim, so it is fully loaded, but I really like the design of this new Murano. You got in pictures, it was a little bit polarizing at first, but wow, in person, it really does stand out across the road. We have this really unique new Nissan corporate front fascia here we've kind of seen across new vehicles such as the Kicks, and I really like how it's being implemented up here. We have this split light design here, and I like how in this lower section over here, Nissan has put in these really cool LED daytime running accent lights that blend right in with the grille over here with this nice new bold Nissan badge up front. Very slim LED lights up here in this bar that also blends in with this nice gloss black bar here that has Murano spelled out over here. Very cool touch up here. I'm a big fan of that Nissan. And again, it's a very Ariya styled vehicle in that sense. We have very sleek, smooth front fascia. We have nice sculpted hood elements over here. Even the lower bumper area is very smooth. We have our radar, cruise control sensor packed right down there. We also have parking sensors around the front, as well as a front camera as part of our 360-degree view camera system. But overall, this front end is actually quite nice, and I'm really a fan of this kind of champagne-style color here. I think it suits the Murano quite well. Now, coming over to the side of the Murano, there's one area where I'm not too particularly sure on just yet. And since we are in the Platinum trim here, we are getting these absolutely massive 21-inch wheels. Yes, on a Murano, we have 21-inch wheels now. They have this black gloss finish on them with these really nice machined elements around the accent distance, I think it's a very nice wheel. It almost looks like an EV wheel, if one may say, which this vehicle almost was, but I think they're quite nice visually, right? But on the ride side, I'd be really interested to drive a Murano now with either the 20 or the 19-inch wheels, because I think these might just be a little bit too big for this vehicle in terms of ride quality. You definitely have a nice, soft, dampened ride. It's a little bit more stiffer than the previous Muranos, but I feel like there's a little bit too much resonation coming through these larger 21-inch wheels that I've noticed in the cabin. Now, like I said, Nissan's doing some really great things on the design department here. And again, this Murano shape is a fantastic evolution of the original Murano. It captures that unique, bubbly, almost design elements with these really sharp futuristic lines here. You can see that right here in this C-pillar design element over here with this crisscrossing motion here. And I really like these nice side haunches over here on the fenders that really blend into the doors. It gives this Murano a nice stance. And it does have a nice stance as it's around 2 inches wider actually than the previous Murano. So it looks a little bit more sophisticated and meaner on the road. On the back over here, again, really nice sleek design elements. We have a nice elongated spoiler over here that is hiding our rear wiper. We also do have camera systems hiding back here, as well as this nice sleek light bar design element that is very Infiniti-esque. If you haven't seen the new QX80, this is very reminiscent of that, which is a good thing because this looks really nice on this vehicle. Very bold Murano lettering out back here, as well as our all-wheel drive badging. We have our platinum badging, and coming down to the lower area over here, you're going to find your parking sensors, as well as this nice blacked out bumper area as well. So to open up your trunk, we're going to press this little button right here, and our trunk will pop open. And one great thing about the Murano, especially in this platinum trim, of course, is a power rear tailgate, but the Murano itself has a pretty low load floor. So loading things into the back of this Murano is really not going to be that much of a hassle, and you have a really nice tall and wide opening, especially with this now wider platform back here. We have a nice carpeted mat back here. Opening up our lower floor divider, you're going to find a spare tire as well back here. It's an also nice welcome touch. We have some nice little storage cubbies on the side if you want to shove some stuff in. You can also get a cargo cover, of course, and that second row of seats does fold down flat to give you a little bit more extra storage space. But for a two-row mid-size SUV, especially in terms of this cargo space, it hasn't changed actually too much over these years. So you're still getting a pretty decent amount of cargo space over here. And of course, this is a two-row mid-size SUV class, so no third row whatsoever can be optioned on the Murano. Okay guys, let's go take a quick look at the rear seats of the all-new Murano. We have our Nissan key fob here, so we do have remote start on here, which is a nice touch, and completely passive access, so I can walk away from the vehicle and it'll lock, and just walk up to it, it can unlock, but you can disable or activate that within the infotainment system. So let's go hop in the rear seats. Now, again, nice wide door openings we're gonna find on this Murano. So opening up this rear door, you can see how wide this door goes. It almost goes to a complete 90-degree angle, which is really great for entry and exit into the rear of the vehicle. On the rear seats over here, since we are in the platinum trim, we get a really nice premium interior over here. So with this brown stitched leather up here, nice soft touch materials all along the door cards, a little bit harder plastics down here, but we do have a nice storage cubby over here, the window controls, as well as this really nice ambient lighting in the back of the Murano, as well as a manual sunshade and rear privacy glass. So let's hop inside and check out how legroom is. Again, pretty easy to get in and out of the Murano. Really not any big lips or anything to kind of hop over, which is a nice touch. Nice solid door thunk as well. And here's a little bit of a better look now at that interior ambient lighting in the back of the Murano, which is a really nice feature over here. And again, these windows are huge, so you have plenty of space back here to view out of the Murano. You're never going to feel too cramped. Now, up in front of us here, lots of foot space, leg room. It's actually quite roomy in here. Again, this is a two-row mid-size SUV, so you have definitely more space in this second row area over here than a more compact SUV will have. Lots of nice knee cutouts here, so if you are even bigger than I am at 6 feet tall, you'll have a lot more room. Though we do not get a storage cubby on the back of the driver's seat. That is only going to be found on the back of the front passenger seat. Coming down to this center console area over here, we do have our two air vent controls, as well as a heated seat. So 3-stage heated seats for both outboard rear passenger seats, and 2 USB-C ports, which is a wonderful feature. And these seats are quite nicely trimmed, and they're pretty comfortable and big as well. We have perforation with this really nice split color design over here as well. So up here, we're going to find this kind of dark chalk mocha color over this black semi-aniline leather on this platinum trim. Very nice, almost Infiniti level premium feeling interior over here. Folding down our little center armrest over here is going to reveal a cup holder. So we have 2 cup holders over here, as well as this little storage card over here, which is a nice touch, and that tucks away neatly back there. So pretty nice amount of storage space back here in the Murano. Again, nice amounts of cargo space in the doors over here as well. And of course, we have controls over here to fold these seats down if you do so choose to increase your cargo space. And passengers back here are really not cramped either, with this massive panoramic glass roof that extends all the way back over here. So you really do have a nice open, airy feeling in this cabin. We have touch ambient lighting back here, or some interior lighting if you do need to activate that, with a few different stages of levels there, which is also a nice touch. So I honestly quite like it back here. It's pretty comfortable, pretty spacious, and I wouldn't be upset if I had to go on a road trip back here either. And since there's not too much of a hump in the middle, you can honestly fit 3 people back here pretty easily, actually. I'm 6 feet tall, like I mentioned, and I can sit in this center area not too bad. Wouldn't want to be here for the longest amount of time, but it is definitely doable. And these outboard passengers will actually still have their own legroom, so I won't be intruding on that space. But let's go hop up front now into this really impressive new cabin over here, because this is really one of the main highlights of this 2025 Murano. Okay guys, we're gonna go hop up front now in the Murano. We do have power folding mirrors, and you can see there are cameras on our mirrors as part of our 360-degree view surround view monitor. Unlock the Murano, and like I said before, you can actually just walk up to it as well if you do have that option enabled. I'm gonna hop inside because it is cold and windy today, but here is the door panel of the front end. Again, pretty similar to what we saw in the back. Nice ambient lighting going across, nice split color design with this leather materials over here. Let's close this door up. Nice solid funk as well. And here we are in the all-new interior of this 2025 Murano. And wow, this is a big improvement over previous generations. So let's start it up. We're going to find our start-stop switch over here in our center console in this kind of really nice wood-trimmed panel over here. It's pulsating to let us know it's ready to start up. Really nice welcome animation. We can see our comfort entry and exit over here as well, with our steering wheel moving down and our seat moving into position to our dual memory seats over here. So what are we getting on the interior of this all-new Murano? Well, there is a lot to cover, and if you have been in our review, or seen our review of the all-new Nissan Ariya, this is a pretty familiar space actually, because we have a lot of familiar technology here, but let's just start off with this steering wheel for starters. This is a really nice steering wheel. I've honestly been one of my favorite steering wheels I've experienced in this kind of class of vehicle here, and I loved it in the Ariya. It works really great here. It's just this kind of simple single spoke design over here. It's really easy to use. It has this kind of vegan leather wrapping around it, but it feels quite nice to the touch. We have some nice genuine stitching over there, which is nice, and this cool design around it as well. On our left-hand side, we have our controls for our Pilot Pro Assist here. Now, I'll get to this in the driving, but this is not the most advanced Pro Pilot Assist that we actually can get in Nissan, which the Ariya does have. This one cannot essentially drive itself and do auto lane change. This is like a step below that, and I don't know why you can't get that full version of this Murano. So Nissan, I would love to see that on here. And on our right-hand side here is actually a great new feature that I saw in the Infiniti, where you can control this display with this little scroll wheel by pressing these buttons. So this controls this panel, this controls that panel. So that's a pretty cool touch there. But otherwise, really great stuff happening on this steering wheel design here. We have paddle shifters on the back of the steering wheel, automatic headlights and high beams, as well as automatic wipers, which is a wonderful touch. We also are getting a pretty big heads-up display over there, kind of hard to see on camera, and you can adjust that with this button here. A heated steering wheel hard button as well, which is a nice touch, and a hard button to turn on and off our steering assist when we are using our Pro Pilot Assist function. We have brake hold as well, power folding mirrors, lots of great stuff going on here. And one of my favorite things about this interior has to be this trim. So I don't know if you can see this on camera here, but the entire trim on the whole dash is this color shifting material that it's called Murano Glass, and it's not some made-up term either. It's actually this actual kind of glass material in like from Venetian design, and this is a really cool thing that we have in the interior of the Murano. I thought it was like ambient lit trim or something, but in person it has this really cool transitional like effect from this kind of orange hue to this blue hue. It looks really different, cool, nice, and different color schemes. And as part of this trim here in this platinum, we have this brown contrasted like leather material going across the dash, real stitching up here. So it's a very nice, well appointed interior as well. It does feel quite nice, and I really like this new Murano accent over here in this center air vent area, and this almost is meant to mimic the new grille design up front, which is pretty cool. We have manual controls for our air vents, so thankfully we do retain a gigantic volume knob, just like what we saw on the Nissan Ariya, which is a pretty nice touch. We have physical tuning knobs as well as on our steering wheel as well. We also have those. Our hazard switch is located right there. We also have climate controls separated from the infotainment system, though I will say this isn't as intuitive to use as it was in the Aria. It's this kind of haptic touch panel baked into like this wood trim over here. So really cool design, though I don't think it works as well as it did in the Aria. And let me just show you guys why. So let's say if you want to turn on your climate system, all you really have to do is leave it in auto, press increase fan, decrease fan, change your temperature. But if you want to go into any more in-depth systems here, we have this really tiny bar down here for our climate systems, and that is when we can open up this full climate menu over here, and that's when you're going to reveal we have our heated seats. We can change our fan speeds, all of our fan directions, as well as a little bit more in-depth temperature control, as well as controlling some rear stuff, such as our rear heated seats, which is a pretty cool touch as well. But otherwise, we do have those quick access buttons down here if you don't want to be digging into these menus. There's also some more quick access buttons, so you can press this little side panel here to turn on your seat ventilation, as well as seat heating on this smaller quick view as well. So you have a few different ways to interact with this climate system. It does work at the end of the day, but I definitely will say it takes a little bit of getting used to. This center console area over here is also quite nice. So we have nice stitching and soft material over here to let your knee rest on it. I really do like that. We also have a lot of storage underneath this console area over here to kind of put like a bag, some phone or wallet stuff, just throw it down there, which is a nice touch. Nice big wireless charging mat over here, 2 USB-C ports as well. I like how this is well integrated, and you can also see this ambient light strip in here, which was also going to be featured on this side as well. So there's a lot of ambient lighting on this new Murano, which I'm a huge fan of. We do have this new style way to shift your Murano. So park, reverse, neutral, driver, all these buttons. This is lifted directly out of the new Infinity lineup of the new QX80 I've seen, as well as the new Armada. So this is a nice touch here. We also have manual mode if you press this twice, and it goes right back into park. The drive mode selector right here, so we can see we have 3 drive modes in this Murano, from Eco, Standard, and Sport. Nothing too crazy, really, but we do have those 3 drive modes to select from. We also have our auto stop start off button. I think this is going to be a big feature for a lot of you guys that do not like auto stop start, even though it does save fuel. It works pretty well in this Murano, pretty seamless actually. You can turn that off if you do choose to do so. And this activates our camera system. And I have to say, this is a fantastic camera system from Nissan over here. So as you can see, we have plenty of views to choose from here. So we have a 360 top-down view. We also have a reversing view. We can also go do this really nice wide-angle view that's going to bring up cameras on our both side wheels as well, which is a nice touch. You can see the wheels turning there. We also have a front large panoramic view and a top-down view. So once I start driving, we'll see underneath the vehicle over there. And of course, we can do a more 3D style view where it can kind of rotate around the Murano and get some more angles if I do want to play around with it in this way. But I have to say, this is a pretty nice system, very high quality cameras as well, which I'm a huge fan of. And you can even change the vehicle color to customize the Murano to a little bit more of a specific color if you want to have it be like that. And another fun thing is you can save locations to activate your camera. So let's say if you're coming up to your driveway or to a sharp corner that you can't always see all the time, you can save that camera activation and it will pop up when you get there, which is a nice touch. So like that feature on this Murano here, really nice camera systems. And let's just have a look at that reverse camera real quick. We'll pop our Murano into reverse. You can see very nice crystal clear backup camera, and that also gives us all those really nice, wonderful wide angle views on there as well. Otherwise, a lot of this technology we're seeing in this Murano is very similar to what we saw in the Nissan Aria. Same thing that goes with these dual screens over here. So up front here, we have this configurable gauge cluster. This is one of the many views you can kind of access through this cluster. That's all controlled by this little panel on the right-hand side here. So we can go through our driving computer, our 4x4 information. You can see more efficiency information. We have our voice assistant as well in this vehicle. Lots of information to kind of cycle through. We also have maps in here, so you can also use Apple Maps up here, for example, will take up that space, which is a wonderful touch. We have Google Maps built in as well. We have our Pro Pilot Assist screens, and we can also change it to a more traditional view as well. If you don't like that view, you can change it to a more traditional circle style gauge layout. But I honestly like the futuristic layout on this Murano. I think it helps to kind of fit this newer high-tech vibe that Nissan is going with this new vehicle. Otherwise, in the center console area over here, we have 2 cup holders, which are nice placed. We have a little bit of a small storage console area over here under on top of this massive storage area, and this nice stitched center armrest over here, which reveals an honestly truly massive amount of space in this center console area over here. You can fit so much stuff in here, which I quite like as well. Pretty nice sound on the closing. It doesn't sound cheap whatsoever. We do have a nice manual control for our glove box as well. Pretty big glove box. This is probably one of the biggest glove box I've actually seen on a modern vehicle, so that's a nice touch there. And again, you see all that nice ambient lighting around the entire interior of this cabin, which is a wonderful touch. We have our controls up here for our panoramic roof as well. We have a sunglass holder in here, so you're getting a lot of nice features in this Murano. Not too sure why this one doesn't have the digital rear view camera. I think we had that on the Rogue ahead actually. So again, pre-production vehicle, so it's not fully production spec, but if it's not available, this would be a nice thing to see. Nice big sun visors as well for this massive windscreen. And let's take a quick dive tour into what's happening on this infotainment system over here. So we have a lot of stuff going on. We do have a quick access panel over here to kind of change our brightness and audio settings real quickly. We have this nice 10-speaker premium Bose audio system in here, which actually is very, very good. And we can change our 64 colors of ambient lighting as well. So you have plenty of choices here. You can kind of choose whatever color you want. You can see how quickly that changes on the interior of this Murano over here. Really nice with this trim that we have. Nissan also has these cool kind of preset designs as well for your ambient lighting, so you can kind of pick through some preset colors, which I think is a really cool touch as well. There's even a Pro Pilot Assist mode, which is just a simple green color. So I love that accessibility to change all of those colors in here. We also have, like I said, built-in Google Maps and massage. How could I forget the massaging seats? So the front driver and passenger seats do have massage available. It's not the most, I would say, complicated massage feature ever, but it kind of just moves the lumbar supports around for you in different patterns. But I think it is still kind of cool that this vehicle can have this. We can see our Google Maps system is very, very nice, quick, responsive. This is a Google-based system at the end of the day. And we also have a voice assistant. So I could say things like, "Hey Google, turn off the driver's heated seat."
Okay, turning off the seat heater for the driver.
So if you guys do remember, or if you did watch my Infiniti QX80 video, that assistant did not work so well. So I'm glad this has been improved. And that was also a pre-production vehicle. So from pre-production to pre-production vehicle, I think they've improved on this voice assistant system here. So glad to see that does work, and you can kind of control some of the vehicle's systems as well. But I actually quite like this display, and I do want to show you guys how to access it from this steering wheel. So all you have to do is really press this button, and it's already on. So you can see now I'm kind of controlling the screen over here via this button. I can kind of go by this panel and kind of scroll through here. It also works within Apple CarPlay as well, which is really cool. So it almost acts like a iDrive controller, but on your steering wheel, or a Mercedes style steering wheel controller. Really cool stuff here. Or you can just go right back and control your digital cluster. So I actually like this. I think it's a lot more safer to use this while driving. Once you do get used to it, I would say, than kind of reaching out to touch the screen, but left a little bit of a learning curve, but it does work well once you get used to it. Otherwise, you know, this is the interior of the Nissan Murano. Very comfortable. It's pretty spacious as well. Lots of glass around you. These seats themselves really nicely appointed. This semi-aniline leather. We have, again, nice split colors over here from the black to this nice mocha brown color up top. Really nice stitching. It's nice. It's a nice space to be. Does it have all the features that the Aria has? No. Surprisingly, it doesn't. That had more advanced tech and safety features as well. So I'd like to see that translated onto this Murano. I'm not too sure why it wasn't able to be. Maybe because this is still using some older platform technology than the all-new Aria, which is a full EV. But if Nissan is watching this, please, guys, let's squeeze some of that more tech in here, because I think it'll really benefit this vehicle even more so, because this is a really great interior overall. Let's go take this all-new Murano on a drive and see how it handles out on the road. Now, we do have 3 drive modes on the Murano, so Eco, Standard, and Sport. I think Standard is the best all-around drive mode in the all-new Murano. It really blends, I think, the Sport and Eco modes pretty well. One thing you're going to notice right off the bat is it's really quiet in this new Murano, which I quite like. And this steering wheel is really nice, actually. It takes a little bit, I think, of getting used to, since it's this one single spoke, but I really like it. It has a really nice feel to it. Now, you do have to sit kind of high in the Murano, as the steering wheel is kind of coming up at you a little bit, not really coming out of the dash. So that's one thing I definitely have to get used to in this car. But once you do sit high, find your driving position, it's very comfortable. We have these zero gravity foam seats that Nissan is famous for. Lots of glass all around you, which is really nice as well. And so off the bat, really nice here. So what has Nissan really changed under the skin of the Murano? Well, a lot. It's wider before, so we have wider tracks, around 2 inches, I think, in total, a little over 2 inches. So you can have a little bit more road presence actually in this new Murano, which is quite nice. A little bit more stable driving experience. We also have a new and revised steering system, so it's a little bit tighter than it was before, and I definitely noticed that from driving Muranos since the ones the original one back from like 2003, 2004, it had a very soft, loose steering rack that I could almost drive with my pinky. This one definitely feels way more put together, a little bit more tighter. You definitely have a little bit more sense of what's happening with the body as well, which is quite nice. That also translates pretty well into this new suspension. The Murano is kind of known for this really soft, almost floaty-like, comfortable suspension for this two-row mid-size SUV lineup here, but now it's a little bit more on the stiffer side, I've noticed. Not too stiff where it's uncomfortable, but I think these 21-inch wheels combined with this new more taut body, taut suspension, taut chassis is translating into a little bit more bumps over some uneven pavement. But on the smooth paved road over here, this thing is really, really comfortable to drive around, I do have to say. Just on some more broken pavement, I think with these 21-inch wheels, like I mentioned, a little bit some bumps coming in here that I don't feel are too pleasant. And it makes a raspy noise from this VC turbo engine over here, which is definitely a unique thing. It's definitely different than the old V6s for sure. I'm not too sure how I like this powertrain as much. I'd be curious to see if they put the V6 with the 9-speed like they did in the Pathfinder. I wonder if people may like that a little bit more than this powertrain option here in the Murano, but hopefully they'll add some sort of hybrid or something down the road, because I think that would really benefit this kind of luxury nature that the Murano does offer. Otherwise, it's potent. You have a lot of torque, 260 pound-feet of torque. You definitely feel it, and having that 9-speed automatic gearbox is a lot more of a pleasant experience. Pop it into sport mode here. We're going to go around this exit corner and we're going to see how the Murano handles itself in terms of body control. We have these new frequency selective dampers. They're kind of passive dampers in a way. They just work by themselves, but it definitely feels way more damping control has been done on this Murano than previous ones. You can definitely feel a lot more body control. It's a lot more stable and planted through corners, a lot less of lean. You can definitely feel that lean, but the body itself stays pretty planted through these corners, which is actually quite nice. I mean, it does feel like they worked a lot on that to give this Murano a little bit more of a more premium feel to it. A little bit of acceleration here. Yeah, this thing gets up and goes. You know, 0 to 60 obviously is not going to be too quick in these Muranos, but it definitely has plenty of punch to this powertrain. Not the most pleasant sound like I mentioned though, but otherwise pretty good. Now, one area where I'm not too fond of is on the fuel economy standpoint. It hasn't been doing too good this week. Now, if you do drive this vehicle in eco or standard mode and really just feather the accelerator pedal around town, you're going to get pretty decent fuel economy numbers. I would say maybe in the 25 to possibly 30 range, but typically in the city you're not going to be seeing that impressive fuel economy figures. Around 23, 24 mpg. On the highway you can kind of creep into those 25, 26 mpg numbers. I got 30 on one round, but we were just being very, very careful on the throttle, not really accelerating. So it isn't the most fuel efficient SUV out there, especially compared to the old V6 that this vehicle used to have. I would have liked to see that improved a little bit. Just for example, the EPA figure for the combined number is 23 for this, and the old V6 was the same. So I wish they could have improved that just a little bit more, but this new 9-speed is definitely a great overall enhancement in this new Murano. Now that we're out here on the highway, we're going to put our ProPilot Assist system to test. Now, like I mentioned, this is not the latest, most advanced ProPilot. Activate it pretty easily by just pressing this little blue button on our right hand side of the steering wheel. It's now primed, press set, and you are off and ready to go pretty easily out here on the highway. Not too bad. So we have lane centering assist. We also have our lane keep assist functions. We have blind spot. So we have a lot of our nice systems around us helping us out here on the highway, though we don't have that ability to take our hands off the steering wheel in certain scenarios. That was one feature that I really liked on the Nissan Ariya, and that one came with a little bit of a driver monitor here staring at your eyes to make sure you're always paying attention to allow that function. Not too sure why this Murano does not get it. I kind of consider it almost like Nissan's almost flagship premium SUV, borderline Lexus, borderline Infiniti in that space, but hopefully they'll add that maybe in an update or something, but that's just one area I would like to see. And that also means it doesn't get the auto lane change assist the Ariya did come with. So if you're really going to want all those tech-packed features, you're going to want to go with the EV version almost of this car in that sense. Otherwise, this ProPilot Assist function is great on the highway in its own right. Pretty easy speed adjustment we have on here. Steering and lane keep assist work pretty well. I wouldn't put too much trust though in the system. I still think that higher end ProPilot Assist does a little bit better in terms of steering and lane keep assist. list. But this is the Murano's happy space, I think. Straight, paved, calm, smooth roads. And of course, we have the all-wheel drive system on this particular Murano. We can actually monitor it from our gauge cluster over here. We can see we are in pure front-wheel drive mode. So this vehicle, with its intelligent all-wheel drive, there's no buttons or switches to really activate it in any which way. It kind of just detects when you need traction and will kind of distribute that power as such. So pretty much all the time it's in front-wheel drive to get the best fuel economy. Otherwise, you can get that traction sent to the rear wheels just a little bit to kind of help in some low traction scenarios, particularly off like a launch, for example. You're just getting up and going, it will use more power sent to the rear wheels. Otherwise, guys, you know, this has been a pretty nice week with the Murano. There are some areas, like I mentioned, where I'd like to see some better things going on, like in terms of the powertrain, and some more of this tech features that Nissan is already offering on some of their other vehicles. I would like to see that baked into this Murano here. But this is a great step forward, I think. The Murano has kind of been the same for it felt like a decade, and this is a really nice, refreshing new take on the Murano in terms of technology, comfort, overall experience, and design. It's really bringing it into the new modern area of Nissan here. So I think they did a great job in that aspect. We'll see how this kind of resonates with consumers, but I think this is a great choice over something like a Chevrolet Blazer, for example, or the aging Ford Edges. This two-row midsize SUV class still is pretty prominent, so there's still quite a bit of competitors to choose from, and I think this Murano is still a standout option in this space. As always, guys, thank you for watching Allcarnews, and make sure to subscribe and stay tuned for more coming soon. Cheers.